Hi everybody. This video is going to give you a quick overview of 3 of our assignments. It's going to be the 3 papers. So first you're looking at the impact of sport on your culture, then the impact of sport on WVU culture, and then the impact of sport on another culture. So a culture different from anything that you kind of claim ownership or connection to. So hopefully this video will help you kind of figure out what we're actually doing. I know the assignments in the syllabus are not super clear, so this is going to give you a little bit more insight. And then you do have the assignment detail sheets available to you now on eCampus, so you can at least see the first paper, and in the next couple of days I'll start to release other weeks, so you'll be able to see more of those assignments. So like I said, first we're looking at the influence of sport on your culture, then we're looking at the influence of sport on WVU, and then on another culture. So this hopefully will give you a good range. It's going to give us a lot of different opportunities to practice applying and analyzing culture in sport, and it should give you an opportunity to talk about anything that you're actually interested in talking about related to sports in the class. So first, I want us to just kind of quickly go over what do we mean by culture. And so we all have our own ideas of what culture is, right? Like the things that are important to us. So there might be some pieces of it that are more important to defining a culture to one person than to another, and others will have different ideas. So really, really broadly, culture is the beliefs, values, perspectives, and practices of a group of people. And so the group of people are what actually makes up the culture, right? So like we have American culture. American culture then has lots and lots of different subcategories within that, right? So with this, I'm okay with you in this first assignment kind of starting out really big. And so if you want to say American culture, that's fine. But later I'm going to ask you to kind of get a little bit more specific within that. And so that could even be like West Virginia culture. You could get a little bit more specific kind of like politically, or you could start to think about your religion or other sorts of things. So this will all come a little bit more clear in the next few slides. But so when we're looking at those beliefs, values, perspectives, and practices, this is going to be identified through things like behavioral patterns, norms of speaking, the language that we use, the speed at which we speak, right? There are certain areas where the culture is really slow and drawn out, and others where they're going to speak really, really fast. So start to think about those sorts of aspects and see how maybe sport has started to connect to those or impact those. You're very welcome to go off and explore what culture means yourself. Look for other definitions of it. Look for other examples of it. Pretty much, if you can put it together and show that you've done research, I'm going to accept what you say as a culture. So I'm happy for you to define cultures just in ways that are meaningful to you and not in ways necessarily that like the dictionary says. So get a little bit creative with that. I had a student in a previous class like write about furry culture, so that's one. You could write about the sports team that you follow, that could be your culture. TV show that you watch, that could be a subculture. These TV shows now sometimes like big conventions, that's a culture. So really start to think creatively, try to do something interesting. If you want to kind of keep it to these bigger, more traditional like American culture, that's fine, but try to have a little bit of fun with this. So the first assignment that is coming up this week is how has sport influenced your culture, so your personal culture. This is where you're going to be spending that time defining what your culture actually is. So there are some graphics here that are meant to be examples. So it could be like your state, that could be your culture, your religion, your political party, whatever you're happy with sharing with me. You're not sharing it with your classmates, so you don't have to really build it up too much. You're just sharing it with me when you submit it. So just a culture that you feel represents you and that you feel that you are an active part of. And then think about how sport has impacted that. It can be a positive impact. It can be a negative impact. Either way is fine. As we get into the other papers, you might go more positive or more negative. It's really just however you feel like you want to take the paper. This first one is worth 10% of your grade, and it is only 1 to 2 pages. So it shouldn't hopefully be too painful. And then after you submit this first one, I'll give you more feedback. So hopefully you'll have a little bit more confidence and more of an idea what you're doing when it comes to the next two papers. They will be a little bit longer. Those are 2 to 3 pages. So this first one, sit and do kind of a little self-reflection and see where you can see some impacts there. And so when I say impacting your culture, it doesn't mean necessarily that the sport has to have impacted you as an individual. So you could be looking more broadly. Let's see an example. I could say I was raised Catholic, and so I could say that like the football at Notre Dame has impacted my Catholic faith, right? Because people always associate now Catholics with like the Fighting Irish and the Little Leprechaun. So I could go into talking about that and what does that mean for being a member of a religious community, right? So these don't have to be maybe particularly deep. I just want to see you being able to make those connections there. So after that one, we have how has sport influenced WVU culture? I have some examples here on the screen. Like I said, they don't always have to be positive. Some of these are maybe not positive examples here, but there's no denying that the couch burning after games has had an impact on WVU culture, right? So think about the university. Start to define what you see the culture of WVU as yourself. One person might define the culture here one way and another person would define it a different way. That's fine. In your paper, you're going to kind of walk me through how you've decided what the culture is here. And then you're going to be making the connections to sport there. And so this can also be things like scholarships, right? We have a lot of athletes who come on scholarships from all over the world, not even just the US. And so then that definitely has an impact on our culture because we're getting all of these different perspectives. So you could maybe go down that path and unpack that a little bit more and see, what kind of result does it have on a non-athlete student or a local student, a student who never goes to a game the entire time they're here. Again, hopefully you'll have fun with it. This one's due in September, so you'll have a couple weeks after the first paper before this one to sit and think about it a little bit more, let it kind of ruminate in your brain a little bit. And then hopefully the discussion boards that we'll be doing in class will also help you start to get some ideas as we go and start to talk about different topics. And then the last paper is due in the last week of class. So this one's going to come a little bit faster after that WVU paper. And so here you're doing the same thing, but just looking at a different culture. So a culture that has nothing to do with you. You could theoretically look at culture of a different university. So if you like the WVU paper, you could look at the culture of Maryland or, any other school that you wanted. But also, start to think about people who are from a different religion from you, from a different country from you, from a different race from you, a different ethnicity, listen to different TV or music or watch different TV. All of those can be cultures that you can write about here. So again, something that's not yours, I want you to have to do a little bit more research here to really investigate and define that culture and then apply that connection or that impact of sport onto it. So hopefully that has helped, those 3 papers. There will be more information as they are assigned on eCampus. This is just to give you an overview of what kind of the main goal of these papers is. And then here, something that's a lot more technical. This is just submission. So on eCampus, when you click on the actual assignment, so if you log in, you'll see the assignment on the week page that it's due. So like right now, the impact on your culture, you can see that under week 2 on eCampus. If you actually click on the title of the assignment, then it'll take you to this page. And if you scroll all the way down, this is what you'll see. So first, you're going to go to this arrow that's on the left side of your screen and upload your file. Upload it. I would prefer Word. PDFs are okay, nothing else. Don't just put the text in and submit it. You actually want to upload it as a separate file. And then once it's uploaded and you know it's there, click on submit, and then you're done. And so then I'll be able to go in and grade it, and you'll get your feedback through eCampus, and the grade will be automatically added to the grade book, and you'll be able to see what you've done. So hopefully that was helpful. If you have any questions or concerns, please let me know. Email me, stop in for office hours, or set up a time to Zoom with me for office hours. And read through the assignment sheets once they're posted on eCampus, because those are meant for your benefit. So any questions, let me know.